Hey, what's up guys? So, for this video, I'm going to talk about the 1984 Dolphins, a team that so many fans enjoyed watching. This team had it all: a historic quarterback, a high-powered offense, and a stellar regular season. But even with all that, they came up just short of ultimate glory. The 1984 Dolphins definitely deserves to be in the conversation as one of, if not the greatest team to not win the Super Bowl. A dominant 14-2 season, a revolutionary offense, and a young Dan Marino playing beyond his years. This team had all the ingredients for greatness. Picture this: it's 1984. The Miami Dolphins had just made the playoffs the year before, but no one could have predicted what was coming next. Their 14-2 regular season performance was electrifying, sparking hope among fans that this might be just the year. And it's easy to see why. The Dolphins outperformed everyone offensively, leading the league and breaking records as they went. Many believed they were destined to win Super Bowl 19. The mastermind behind the Dolphins' greatness was, of course, Dan Marino. Despite being just a second-year pro, Marino played like a football legend. His 1984 season remains one of the greatest for ages, with 5,084 yards and 48 touchdown passes. Marino shattered NFL records during a time when the running game was still keen. Marino redefined the quarterback position with his rapid release, sharp accuracy, and powerful arm. Dan Marino was a fearless gunslinger with a calmness beyond his experience, leaving defenses powerless against him. Marino's quick release erased the danger of any pass rush. In an instant, the ball would be 20 yards further down the field. Dan Marino's season, it was so revolutionary, it's almost impossible to fully grasp its impact. He turned 300-yard passing games into a regular occurrence, and without him, the Dolphins' offense wouldn't have been as dynamic. To this day, in my opinion, I still think Dan Marino's 1984 season is the greatest season by a quarterback. The Dolphins' offense was firing on all cylinders. Let's talk about the stars on the receiving end of those deep passes. Mark Clayton and Mark Duper, widely recognized as the brothers. Marino's connection with Mark Clayton and Mark Duper, it was incredible. Mark Clayton, he racked up 1,389 receiving yards, and he set a then record 18 receiving touchdowns, while Mark Duper contributed over 1,300 yards of his own. These receivers were lethal downfield targets who could break through any coverage. Of course, credit also goes to the offensive line with Dwight Stevenson. With the protection Marino received, he was able to work his magic, leading the Dolphins to an NFL best 32.1 points per game. For its time, this offense was light years ahead. Quick, electrifying, and incredibly difficult to stop. If you were on defense, stopping the Dolphins wasn't really an option. Survival was your only hope. Now, obviously, the Dolphins were historically dominant on offense, but let's not sleep on their defense. It was no Steel Curtain defense or Legion of Boom defense, but still solid. Dolphins ranked 7th in opponent points. Key defensive players such as Doug Betters, Campbell Camper, and AJ Dewey. The Dolphins focused on forcing key turnovers and preventing explosive plays to maintain control for their offense. It wasn't necessary for the Dolphins defense to be elite due to how good their offense was. Throughout the regular season, the Dolphins were easily winning games, blowing teams out. Week 4 versus the Colts, won 44-7, Week 6 against the Steelers, won 31-7. Week 8 against the Patriots, won 44-24. And Week 9 versus the Bills, won 38-7. It seemed like no team could keep up with the Dolphins. Heading into the playoffs, the Dolphins were favorites. They were heavy favorites to take the AFC. The Dolphins made a statement in the playoffs, overpowering the Seattle Seahawks 31-10 in the divisional round. Dan Marino passed for 260 yards and 3 touchdown passes, delivering a typical performance. In the AFC Championship game, Marino, he delivered a masterclass, throwing for 421 yards and 4 touchdown passes, leading the Dolphins to a 45-28 victory against the Steelers. With the Dolphins playing unstoppable football, fans began to dream of their first Super Bowl title since 1973 season. Then came Super Bowl 19, where the Dolphins clashed with an iconic team, Joe Montana's 1984 San Francisco 49ers. With one of the most well-rounded rosters in NFL history, the 49ers took advantage of the Dolphins' shortcomings in the running game and on the defense. Miami's ground game was stifled, producing only 25 rushing yards, which left them overly dependent on the passing attack. Joe Montana picked Miami's defense apart, while Marino was stifled by the 49ers' aggressive front. What had been a remarkable season for the Dolphins ended in disappointment with a 38-16 defeat against the 49ers. The defeat made it easy to overlook just how amazing the Dolphins were in 1984, but the 1984 49ers, they do deserve recognition for being such a complete team. This Dolphins team deserves to be considered one of the greatest teams to not win Super Bowl, without a doubt. 14 wins, Dan Marino's iconic season in receiving duo of the Marx brothers. While they didn't capture the title, the 1984 Dolphins legacy lives on through Marino's record-setting year, the Marx brothers' dynamic play, and their unforgettable offensive firepower. So that'll be it for this video. Leave a comment and tell me what you think. Thank you for watching.